No. He was supposed to have attitude.
What do you mean exactly?
Oh, you know, attitude. The sunglasses.
Can we put him in more of a hip-hop context?
Forget context. He's got to be a surfer. Give me a nice schmear of surfer.
I feel we should Rastify him by 10% or so.
I think he needs a little more attitude.
Oh, yeah. Bingo. There it is, right there. That's it.
I love it.
So, hey again. I kind of figured out that a game that Saints Row, the reboot, looks like. Let me share my screen because I always mess it up. No, move that out of the way. So Redfall, that's what it reminded me of. Yeah, this is one of those situations where, let me see if I could share that screen with you. Let me go Saints Row. All that good stuff, but it's not. I have to look up the reboot. So when you actually pay attention to the whole, like, just the whole reboot, the entire thing that bugged me about Saints Row was the fact that I've seen this type of trailer before, and then it hit me like, oh gosh, it's Redfall. If anyone hasn't seen the trailer for Redfall, it's basically from so far what they've been talking about, it's like a 4-player, like Borderlands type of game, first-person shooter. But when it opens up, it's kind of the same general thing. 4 people in the street, something that kind of looks like a maybe deserted desert area, maybe small town, kind of go about shooting up a bunch of vampires. Just swap out vampires for gang members, and hey, there you go, kind of the same thing. Yeah, there probably is no game, no cars or anything, but we don't know what it looks like yet. But again, it does the exact same thing. Spunky black girl, check. Some white dude who's running around vlogging or whatever, just a cool white guy, check. I think there is a Latino girl in there. I'm trying to remember who the other two girls or the other two were. Oh my goodness, why do you have to make me do that? Oh wait, I think you got a trailer here. Oh, this is some guy talking about it, but you can kind of look it up. But the gist is, here's the situation. Redfall is a game that is brand new IP. Meanwhile, so with the brand new IP, you have say, oh, I'll check it out. Why not? It doesn't matter the style, the look, the feeling. No problem. When it comes to a IP that's been known for years, and then you change it up this dramatically, there's a problem. There's your problem. Now, the funny thing is that while everyone's talking about the concept of wokeness, this is the kind of the thing we were talking about. This idea of we are just shoving in various minorities and sexes into a game just to appease the mass audience. And you're really getting pissed off at it. I get you. I understand. I'm getting pissed off with it too. But here's the funny thing. We've seen, my generation, the older generation, Gen X, has seen this before. So, how many of you have seen these guys? Yep. This is the Burger King Club, the Burger King Kids Club. There was a moment in the 90s where, oh my goodness, there was so much forced representation, it got annoying. The funny thing is, it's both forced representation on top of forced extreme sports type of feeling. Back then, it was just trying to be hip, and now, and well, even that term is from a different era as well. But yeah, you kind of had everything. You had, grab my pen. You had the hip white kid that everyone wanted to be. You needed a black guy. You needed either a strong, I think she's kind of the strong white woman. You throw in a nerd. And you just needed the average every girl. From there, you pepper it in. Burger King with Latino and disabled kid. Right? That's how it went. Now you saw a little bit of it before. Let me kind of scroll down. Think of the concept of Power Rangers. Power Rangers was kind of the same thing. What started off as Super Sentai, just 5 average kids, turned into the perfect way of introducing minorities or multiculturalism. How about that? Right? But again, we follow in the same thing. Cool, strong white guy. Let's throw in a black guy who could rap and dance. That was the thing for black people back then. Now, we just lumped in ourselves with the nerd and we're good. We got the nerd and the black guy. It's done. It's so easy. The cute white girl, the awesome and really cool white guy. And it'd be funny if he just put shades on him. Now he's awesome. He's even more awesome. You had the nerd for intelligence, and instead of Latino, you go with Asian. How about more representation? And you see this thing happening over and over again. This was a big thing back in the 90s. This was coupled together with the obsession with trying to add sports into the matter. And I don't know, it's just in the 90s, it was really about let's throw as many races as possible into a situation. Make sure that the main character is a spunky white guy. Representation back then was let's make sure that we have a black guy, an Asian person, usually a girl. Let's make sure that our main audience is still watching. So, like I said, strong male and a female. And then because we need to show smarts, we throw in a nerd. Simple as that. Now, there were other random weird reboots that kept happening. So there was a bad habit of trying to reboot old franchises by creating a younger paper group. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but really it kind of just hurt. Like just well, for me, it hurt my brain. It might have been funny, but to be honest, it was just rehashing the old while pushing away the old. Kind of like Saints Row, surprisingly. Now, the funny thing is, I'm not saying these are all bad. There's a lot of good shows in this. There's a lot of horrible shows out there as well, which is why I'm only showing the good stuff, surprisingly. Although, let's be real, Captain Planet was kind of cheesy. And Power Rangers is always cheesy. You can watch it now and you realize how bad some of the plots were. And the only thing you really watched it for was, well, the kung fu or karate, ninja stuff, whatever. And the massive destruction that the Zords have, that your I said Zords. Why did I say Zords? That the robots had, right? Oh, yeah. I was going to share again. But it's one of those things where it's kind of like in that time of the 90s, while we had all this crazy attempt to try and how do I put it? The attempt to try and pander to the lowest common denominator. How about that? Some things worked. Sometimes some of it worked. Some of it just didn't work at all. But you had like this is also the time when anime started kind of fleshing out. I mean, I think if they studios finally realized like, hey, let's start taking other properties and start playing around with it. Now, I don't know where I'm going with this. But this is kind of a thing that has always happened. In the 80s, what's great is like representation in the 80s really meant more of just having personalities rather than races, right? And this is also a time when you really just kind of saw more of hidden anime that at the time you didn't know was Japanese. A lot of representations I noticed back in the 80s was a lot of Native Americans. So like Brave Star was always about Native Americans and it was like really cool. I never knew about them. I think Black Star is also kind of a Native American thing. And I miss that kind of representation. But again, majority of it was let's see if we could rehash the old 70s stuff like Bionic 6. Or let's put bears or Ewoks or well, Ninja Turtles or whatever random wacky thing we could throw at it. And it wasn't about race, it was just about personality. So the real question is, let me get that. The real question is, will we ever get out of this phase? That's really a big question. Let's be honest, the reboot of Saints Row is kind of dead. It's going to release. Some of us are kind of gonna play it. Some of us will just kind of laugh at it at the corner. But is this the trend that we're going to be seeing for the next few years? Probably not. because we're finally at the height of the woke multicultural hill that we're fighting on, and now it's getting to the point where everyone's kind of getting sick of it. It's going to get pushed, and we're going to get a huge flood of it, because now media wants to play it. They believe this is the way of going about it, and the more we push back and the more it fails, eventually they'll start weeding through all the nonsense and actually start making some positively good stuff. This is kind of just the thick of BS that we have to deal with when change happens. So it's sad that Saints Row became part of that problem. But hopefully the next wannabe Saints Row throws out the woke and starts putting back personality back into the story. We'll see.